So I recently completed the third racing game in the Crash Bandicoot universe. This game just so happened to be Crash Tag Team Racing, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. But first, if you're new here, my current goal is to collect, beat, and 100% every Crash Bandicoot game. And Crash Tag Team Racing just so happens to be our 12th game in the series, 12 straight Crash Bandicoot games. This game was released in 2005, and this was released for multiple different consoles, including the PS2, GameCube, PSP, and Xbox. But for this particular playthrough, we used the PS2 version of the game. The game starts off with two commentators talking about the predicted foreclosure of motorsports racing. Thanks to the stolen power gems, Violent Clutch is expected to shut down. We then cut to Crash and Cortex jetting down the freeway, doing their usual shenanigans that leads them into crashing right into the park, setting up our big racing challenge. This game is much different than Crash Team Racing and Crash Nitro Kart. Something that I truly admired about those games was the fact that you never left your race cart. You drove from spot to spot, and at least from my limited experience in racing games, this was just something totally unique. They went and changed that format where you roamed around as Crash, giving you the feel of a platformer and a racing game. You have to go through and collect the power gems from each park. In order to get 100%, you have to go out and do a lot of different things. Complete multiple tiers of missions, get costumes, do chicken challenges, complete the mini games, and much, much more. Now, for the sake of everybody's attention spans, I will only cover the races and notable cutscenes. Anything else that just kind of feels important to me. Now let's dig into why you probably clicked on this video. Is Crash Tag Team Racing a good game? Well, let's talk about it. Before we head into the park, we do our basic movement mechanics like we do in every other game. Just learn how to jump, to spin, and learn about anything new that we should know about. We then get our first look at the whole gang talking with Von Clutch. Whoever retrieves all the power crystals and brings back the black power crystal, aka his heart, can have full ownership of his park. This gives Cortex motivation for giving him a new place to sprout out evil. After collecting the gem on the statue, this gives us the ability to now enter our first park, Mystery Island. This has a pirate theme to it, and it has a pirate ship in the middle of it to, complete that look. One of the best parts about this game is all the dioramas. These are also needed to get 100%. A diorama is basically just a quick gag, cutaway kind of scene of Crash dying from a variety of different reasons. If it's getting hit by a Yeti or eaten by a shark, they just seem endless. This game also seems to have the same amount of humor and kind of soundtrack as Twin Sanity, which automatically gives this game a massive edge. There are 3 different tracks here: Tiki Turbo, Pirates of the Carburetor, and Deep Sea Diving. I feel like I really stayed in the back and armed the weaponry in my playthrough of this game, so I really don't have too much of an opinion on the tracks. Most of them are what you expect the first world to exhibit. After completing these 3 tracks, we get our first battle arena, which is known as Jungle Rumble. This is a race for the first 10 eliminations. If you haven't played Jack X, this game mode really reminded me of that game. After finishing this and finishing everything else needed here, we can move to our next hub, Happily Ever Faster. Happily Ever Faster also hosts a wide array of funny dioramas, but the main attraction here is our 3 racetracks. These include Once Upon a Time, Track in the Beanstalk, and Evilocity. Hey man, you really have to give them credit for their creativity for some of these names. Whoever created the name for Track in the Beanstalk, they need a raise. Now, it might be quite a few years later, but give that man a raise. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, this was more of a run and gun kind of game than a racing game for me, so not too much to mention in terms of what I thought about these tracks. I feel like if you didn't merge with somebody and shoot the enemies behind you, you would just get annihilated for not making that decision. I learned that early, so mostly I played the game that way. Our battle arena here is actually a stunt challenge this time. You had to go in and perform different tricks to accumulate points. Accumulating enough points to get the high score, you would get a power crystal. I will say I really did enjoy the stunt arenas. They kept me engaged, and it was really fun to see how many 360s I could do in one jump. If you're even halfway enjoying this video, please consider dropping a like or sub to the channel. Currently, most of the people watching this video are not subscribed to the channel, and showing support to the channel can help us improve the quality of the videos and games collected and played. As always, we appreciate your support, and let's get back to the video. After finishing up all the missions, dioramas, chicken runs, etc., and Happily Ever Faster, we can now move to our next park. Our next park is T-Rex Rex. This was probably my second favorite park. The layout was sick, and there was a ton of different dioramas here that were extremely funny. Like, you just had to see them. The three tracks here were fossil fuel injection, Laburia, car pits, I probably said that wrong, and tire and ice. I did try and race more on these tracks rather than shoot. I thought these were really fun though. Loved all the dinosaur references throughout the tracks. Our battle arena here was Extinction Park, and it was also a race to see who could get the first 10 KOs. Our next park that we visited is Toontown, and this one was by far my favorite park. Felt like a much bigger challenge to find things and move around, and felt much more rewarding for completing. Our three tracks here is Dead Heat, Crash Test Mummies, and Pyramid Pass. I also tried to do more racing here to try and appreciate the maps, but I kept losing, so I kept reverting back to just shooting womp womp. Our battle arena is actually locked here, unfortunately. It can only be played on the PSP version or by linking the two together. Unfortunately, I'm poor, and I never owned a PSP, so I couldn't do it. I like the idea behind this to try and get people to give the PSP a chance, but nowadays, that stuff is expensive. When we return to the park, we get a cutscene of everyone blaming Crash for all the gems missing, even though, aren't we the ones that got him back? And Willy Wonka begins to admit he was the bad guy all along, and no one believed him until he revealed he had the black gem and he just dashed into Astroland. Finally, our last park, Astroland. This park took me so long. It was a bit more stimulating to try and find everything, but I kept getting lost. The park design is so beautiful though. They really outdid themselves with the graphics for this game, in my opinion. The three tracks here are Rings of Uranus, Uranus Mine, and Craters on Uranus. A huge trend for Uranus, if you can't tell. After completing those, we probably had my favorite thing about this game, and it was the Stun Arena here. I'm not sure why I love the Stun Arena so much, but it was by far my favorite part of the game. Even after beating the game, I went back to do it again. We didn't have to catch Willy Wonka before he makes his grand escape. By pulling the lever, we were able to stop him and grab the gem. That's when Cortex shows up and just tries to be a menace and make his grand stand. Where Crash just sacrifices the chicken and causes him to crash. We return to the park and everybody's happy. We saved the day. Von Clutch got his heart. And that is the conclusion of Crash Tag Team Racing. After being refreshed or even hearing about this game for the first time, what is your thoughts about this game? Does it seem to be a good game? Well, here's my thoughts. I did really enjoy this game. I was very nervous going into it since this was the third Crash Racing game, and I was sort of burnt out on that. Not to mention playing 12 straight Crash Bandicoot games. That could add up pretty quick. I thought they did an amazing job to make this game different. It gave you the opportunity to treat this game as a platformer and a racing game, which is incredibly unique to the previous games. Now, the previous games, you never left a car, which I stated earlier. I thought that was super neat, but it was nice they switched it up in this one. It was also by far the longest Crash game to 100%. You had to complete the mini games, find the dioramas, complete missions, complete all the races multiple times, buy all the costumes, and much, much more. Plus, it did have the same humor as Twin Sanity, which I loved, but it did feel incredibly repetitive due to how long it took to beat, and it felt much more like a shooter game rather than a racing game due to how easy it was to be taken out by a team. With that being said, my overall rating for this game is a 7.5 out of 10. They did what they needed to do to make it fresh while also staying true to the racing, but the duration to get 100% really killed the score for me. If this was the first racing game, the score could be potentially higher. 7.5 for a grade would be a 75%, which is a C, and hey, C's get degrees, baby. So I'll give it the good grade stamp. With all that being said, we are actually moving to the first Nintendo DS game in the series, Crash Boom Bang. And I've heard amazing stuff about this game. I'm incredibly excited to start it. And if you watch this long, I really do appreciate your time so very much. And I hope you have a wonderful day.